studio again, huh? I love it. I love it. Oh, you know what? We're not going to cut it. We're going to leave it. Camera's got a setting that needs to be fixed. Give me 1 sec. We're not cutting it. We're leaving it. We are leaving it in the moment. Boom. We got to cue that Jeopardy music. Come from this side. Come from this side this time. There we go. Hopefully that'll work and I won't have to get up and fix anything. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Side Projekt Podcast. Yes. Grab your Side Projekt merch and let's take a drink. Oh, it tastes so good. It tastes like, what is it? It tastes like glory. It's been quite a long time. It tastes like glory. It tastes like success and sexualization. Everything that you see here, all the Side Projekt merch is available on the Side Projekt merch store right now. Links are in the description. You can go and you can cop it. The Run It Up merch, the Projekt Things merch, the Side Projekt Project Park merch, and this little one with the Chazosaurus Rex on the little peck here. I wanted to put him on the nipple, but it didn't look right. You know what I mean? I felt like it looked good. My face on a little nipple, but didn't look right. In all reality, didn't look right. Plus the Projekt Things, hoodies, and all that stuff on the merch store right now. Go get them. Links are in the description, like I said, as well as the timestamps are in the description in case there's anything that you want to skip ahead or, don't want to be spoiled about, because this might just be a pretty spoilery episode because we've got a guest here this week, and it's someone that I've been wanting to have a conversation with, someone that we've been going back and forth with for quite a while on scheduling, and the time has come because, what's the motto this year? Long time comings. Yes. And then hold on, I think I do. Of course, this would happen when I'm trying to get to the guest. I think I do got to fix the setting real quick on the camera. You guys know how it goes. It's been a long time since I've been in the studio. I've been doing convention stuff, so forgive me. I must have missed something. 1 quick second. Oh, yeah! My guest this week, this gentleman is a staple in the Power Rangers community. This gentleman is an inspiration within not only PR, but many aspects of creativity, such as film work, as everything he touches turns to Psycho Gold. Yeah. This gentleman is a writer. This gentleman is an actor, a director, a costume designer, a cinematographer. Let's just say he's a man of many hats, creating one of the most successful Power Rangers series on YouTube, but always giving credit to those who helped build the dream, alongside including various other Ranger fandoms within the multiverse, including some I work with, and previous guests and friends of the show, such as Colin K. Bass with Shattered Past, Mike and Louie at Combat in the Grid. It's that PR unity. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and give a warm welcome to the creator of Power Rangers Unworthy, Jourdan Barnett.
Thank you.
Yes.
Happy to be here, man. Thank you.
Yes,
for having
man.
me.
How you doing, dude? How's the day been treating you?
I'm feeling good. I'm doing good. It's been a long week, but I'm excited to be here talking about Unworthy. And I love your whole intro with the Psycho Gold pun. That was genius.
You like that?
As a writer, I'm feeling you. That was good.
I feel like I had to throw in a little pun somewhere in there. I was like, where does it fit? There, it fits right there. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, dude. Unworthy Productions on YouTube, creeping up on 20 million views in total across the channel as a whole. The numbers speak for itself, that it's something that resonates with PR fans for sure. And I'm certain quite possibly even people that aren't just fans of Power Rangers stuff, because the quality is top notch, from the camera work to the directing, the acting, the cast, the crew, the storyline of the Arbiter within Power Rangers Unworthy, and him deeming Rangers not being worthy, which is something I want to dive into a bit. Definitely the Arbiter and his story itself, alongside your story, your backstory. And I don't mean your character as the Blue Ranger, but you yourself as a person too, get to know how everything came to be. But before we touch on those things, I think we should let people know, in case they don't quite know, what exactly is Power Rangers Unworthy. So I'd like to give you the floor to briefly fill them in, a synopsis maybe, or a backstory, with 4 officially titled episodes out, and then maybe a couple other shorts, I guess you could label them as. What is Power Rangers Unworthy?
I guess the elevator pitch is just that it's a mature Power Ranger series that is it's a mini web series on YouTube, and it's a kind of it's a love letter to the fans for sure, because it ties into basically every iteration of Power Rangers, whether that be the movies, new and old, whether that be the shows, new or old, whether that be the comics.
Yeah.
Really, it's all of the love I have for the franchise, because it's really my first superhero franchise. Even before I was into like Justice League, I was like Fox Kids kid, so I love things like, you know,
of course,
like all the Fox Kids, like Spider-Man, Wolverine, all that stuff. But in terms of like a superhero team, like I didn't get into like the full comic book stuff until after Power Rangers. Power Rangers is like my gateway into like before the Avengers, before Justice League, I had Power Rangers.
Definitely.
So it's just a web series on YouTube that is definitely a where I felt like the show never fully grew up with its audience. I tried to just make something that I felt like I would resonate with as a fan now.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of, if I say so myself, there's a lot of Mighty Morphin influence, I feel like, in Unworthy, right?
I mean, I'm up there right now. Mighty Morphin, baby. It's not Unworthy.
Exactly.
It's a Mighty Morphin.
Exactly, man. I see a lot of that, and that's actually just personally speaking, that's what I grew up on, is Mighty Morphin, which I think a lot of us did. It's the original, it's the classic, you know what I mean? But it's still to this day, like, it's probably my favorite still to this day. It's just the one that resonates. Maybe it's the nostalgia too. You know what I mean? Like the nostalgia factor.
It's probably
you know,
the nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's the most, like, I love the storyline of Mighty Morphin, like overall, like with hindsight and with like what Boom Comics or Boom Studios is doing with the comics and stuff like that. But like, if you go back and rewatch it, Mighty Morphin is kind of hard to watch.
I know exactly what you mean, because I did it not long ago, and that's why I said, like, maybe it's the nostalgia, because I was watching it and I was like, okay.
I almost like Dino Thunder or like Time Force, those seasons definitely hold up better, like as adults. But
I think you're right. It's like the nostalgia. It's like seeing the Green Ranger for the first time, and like seeing the White Ranger, and like all those big moments, those like pivotal moments. You know what I mean? And it's just, it holds a special place in my heart. But dude, Unworthy, man, it follows the story of your Rangers, and it's got time travel in a sense in it going on. It's got multiverse stuff going on. You've got all kinds of stuff, and you've got this villain in Power Rangers Unworthy, the Arbiter.
Ninja Earth 218. You have been deemed unworthy.
And the first Ranger, he's the antagonist in your series. I'm not gassing you up when I say this, man. This is my honest opinion. Villains are important, man. I love me a good villain, and the Arbiter is the epitome of a good villain, the epitome of intriguing, unstoppable, like a warpath. It's a villain that you're maybe not necessarily rooting for, but well, I don't know, maybe a little bit, because all of us got a little bit of all of us got a little bit of villainy inside of us, you know. Just kind of want to take that villain route every now and then, you know. But in all seriousness, you have yourself a big bad that you just want to see more of every time that he's on screen and then off. It's the voice, shout out to Mike Dent, menacing. It's the suit, menacing. It's his walk, his movements. It's, for the Marvel fans, dare I compare it to Thanos in his like confident demeanor, you know? What was going through your mind when thinking and writing for the Arbiter, like what you wanted him to be, how you wanted him to act? Did you set out anything specific you wanted to achieve when it came to a villain for Unworthy?
I mean, a lot of it, great minds think alike, because a lot of what you just said is what I had in mind. I pulled from a lot of iconic villains that I specifically enjoy. So like Thanos was definitely one of the characters I draw from inspiration.
Yeah.
And also what you said about villains being very important. That to me, going into Unworthy, was always at the forefront of my mind. Like, you love a Batman movie, but at the end of the day, what you're talking about is the Joker. Right? You love Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, but they wouldn't be what they were without Thanos.
Yes, exactly.
And really, the best villains, I think, are protagonists of their own stories.
Yes.
So that's what Arbiter kind of represents. He's almost like the Anakin Skywalker fall to the dark side kind of motif. Like, so yeah, I'm pulling a lot of he's got like some Terminator vibes in there. He's got some Savitar from the Flash, some Black Flash or Zoom from the Flash. Like he's just like a blender of like all of my favorite things all in one.
Yeah.
And when we first did Unworthy, the episode 1, I didn't have a full idea of where his character was going to go, but I did have like the broader strokes of what his character was going to be, which is someone that from the outside looking in seems like a Darth Vader, but beneath the dark visage of Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. And like, what is his story? And even if his story isn't justifiable, in his mind, it is. Yes. And that's kind of what I think makes a great villain and what makes seeing how the protagonists deal with a villain like that interesting. So.
Yeah, 100%. And you did an amazing job at tackling all of those things, because like I said, when watching it, it's like, you just want to see more, because it pushes the story forward too. And like you said, it makes things interesting, like how they, the Rangers are acting and interacting and reacting to the things that the Arbiter is doing. Like that's the dynamic, and you did it perfectly. And for anybody that doesn't know, I want to read a synopsis here. Power Rangers Unworthy is a team of Rangers from Earth 218 facing what might be their greatest foe, the Arbiter, who is the first Ranger, and he's going around deeming Power Rangers unworthy throughout the entire multiverse. And the dude is just a beast, man. He just drops in unexpectedly wherever he goes, and he's just like, you have been deemed unworthy. Like, dude, if anyone, let alone a dude like with a suit like his and a voice with like built-in surround sound, told me that I was deemed unworthy, as he like slowly got up from a kneeling position and looked me dead in my eyes, like, dude, I would just know, like, this is where my life ends. This is it. I'm done. Like, I'm going out. I'll see you guys later. Like, he's amazing. And there's something to be said with that feeling, all jokes aside, to your writing, dude, because the writing for Unworthy is phenomenally done, brother. And it's like, maybe I'm biased because like, I really love the Arbiter, dude. And like, but the writing for the Arbiter is also one of my favorite aspects personally of Unworthy. And we're jumping around all over the place here. Again, there's spoilers in case anybody hasn't seen it. They've been out for quite a while, but I mean, hey, cool. Maybe you haven't seen it, and yeah, a little bit of spoilers going on here, but maybe this will, make you go see it. Maybe you'll be interested. But in one of the most recent Unworthy releases, Ninjor's Oath, the Arbiter has a speech that he gives to Ninjor that, again, putting forth that top villain status in my mind, but this time with dialogue, And
it's not top G, it's top V.
Yeah, exactly. It's top V. Yeah. and like you it's just the way that you wrote it, the words that you chose. It's like you have to pay attention to those specific words that just draw forth like that good villain dialogue, man. He states, and it's the way that he was delivered as well, which Mike Dent is the voice throughout the whole series, or no?
Mike Dent was the Arbiter's voice up until episode 2. And then from 3 forward, it's actually Washi Taylor.
Oh, okay,
he took over since then,
I'm glad I asked so we could get that correct then. So kudos to both of them, amazing job. But this one would be the second voice actor. Then he states, the Power Rangers you've spawned have become a cancer on the multiverse, an affliction on the grid that must be purged. And then he stops and raises his hands and goes, and I am the cure. And let's roll the actual clip so you can see him actually do it.
Left unchecked, I've seen countless worlds shattered by your hubris. The Power Rangers you've spawned have become a cancer on the multiverse, an affliction of the grid that must be purged. And I am the cure.
That is one of those lines that you remember from a film, man. Like that's that one. That's like that Thanos-like line that you would remember from Avengers. That's like the Darkseid-like line that you would remember from something.
Can you guess what that's pulling from? It is pulling from a character.
Is it?
The energy. It's not so much like the line itself, but the what he's channeling. I had a character in mind.
Oh, I have a couple, but I don't want to say them and be wrong, dude.
I can tell you.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Vecna from Stranger Things.
Oh, dude, that was one that I had in. Again, like I said, like you're pulling, like it gives you that vibe of like he's another perfect example of like a menacing, like the way that he moves, the way that he talks. That's a perfect one. And like I said, Thanos and like Darkseid, even like Darth Vader and things like that. You it feels like you're pulling from like our childhoods and then some. You know what I mean? Like it's just amazingly done. It's so well written and then so well delivered. I like I said, I love me a good villain, dude. But with every villain comes a balance, right? There's always a backstory to why said villain has become the way that they have. And you have that balance. You have a backstory in Unworthy where it's revealed that he's the first ranger, how, why, what occurred, down to the minute detail of even just his suit and why it became what it is and how it became what it looks like, what we see today, which again, kudos to those attention to details, you know what I mean? But even just drifting away from the Arbiter himself and speaking on backstories within Unworthy, it's something that's pretty prominently done throughout your series. It's your ability to juggle the past and the present of these characters that you allow us to see backstories of, and it's greatly done, dude, such as the Chrono Ranger. When he enters the story, for example, we see his backstory and how he became who we're first introduced to, his dealings with vengeance, the Arbiter, and loss. How do you go about juggling so many characters in a story to begin with, and then finding how, when, and choosing necessity of which characters get a deeper backstory?
That's a great question. I feel like the story itself kind of dictates who I delve into, because you use Chrono Ranger as an example.
Yeah.
That originally wasn't going to be a numbered episode. It was going to be a side episode.
Right, because it's pretty much the whole episode that focuses on that episode is almost the whole episode, right? That focuses on Chrono Ranger.
The framing device is Chrono Ranger telling them the story of his background. So that's really the only connection we have back to the main storyline of episodes 1 through 3.
Yeah.
So it was going to be a side episode, but it became so long, but also I felt like it was so important to understanding one of the core characters in the Unworthy group, since Chrono Ranger, he's effectively the sixth ranger of the group now. Like he kind of took Tommy's place.
Yeah.
He's kind of our White Ranger in quotes.
Right.
But he, like, so the idea of kind of making his story important enough to be a numbered episode was something that happened after the fact. But in general, I just feel like, for example, we haven't done like a background, a story of the 218 Rangers yet, because there hasn't been a place where I can like weave it in while balancing the production schedule we're on, which it's like a yearly, so it takes forever to produce anything. But so I kind of have to balance between like what I would like to do versus what we have time to do, and I kind of somewhere fall in the middle of like who gets backstories and when. So like Arbiter was definitely so important; it's crucial to the whole plot. Chrono Ranger, because it's one of the main characters of the story, and really he represents the theme of Unworthy so well. I just felt like it was necessary to make that, because that episode is not only a standalone episode, but it kind of encapsulates the series if you haven't watched it anyway. So if you just watch that, you get the entire vibe of the series.
True. Good point. Damn, you're right. Now I'm thinking I'm playing it back in my mind, and you're right. It's just like I said, man, it's so well done juggling all these characters. And it's funny that you actually brought up like how you haven't given the main Rangers like a quote unquote backstory. And you're right, you haven't, but it's like the whole series itself is so well done that I actually didn't even really think about that. Like
I'm spoon feeding details here and there, so you can piece it together of like, okay, Jason died because of what Rocky said in episode 3. Oh, how long were they a team? Like it makes you start questioning, and there is a backstory,
right?
Like there is one I have in mind, and it's going to be a comic and possibly a production in the future.
Nice.
But yeah, I like to sprinkle in details, so I always try to have at least 1 or 2 episodes in mind ahead, so I know to be referencing things I'm going to be doing later. So 'cause my favorite thing in storytelling is rewatchability, where you go back and watch things and you go, oh, that's why he said that. Or, oh, that's why, you know what I mean? So it's like you have to do that. You have to plan ahead too. So I'm always kind of working backwards.
That's almost like, I feel like that's a skill, man, to be able to like work backwards and plan it that way. Like, I feel like that's a skill, dude. And again, it's another thing. And I'm not just like gassing you up with all the things I say. Like I said, I love it from a creative standpoint too. Like seeing all these things fleshed out the way that they are. And I love hearing the behind the scenes stories and how you made it all happen. But then also from a fan standpoint, taking myself out of trying to just, because when I watch things, I always watch like, I wonder how they shot that. I'm always thinking like behind the scenes stuff. But sometimes I try to take myself out of that mindset and just watch as a viewer. You know what I mean? So I get both sides. And so that's why I love doing this podcast and talking with people and getting the inside stories on things, which is something you mentioned was, you know, the mainline Rangers, which is the Green Ranger. And that's something that I'd like to point out real quick is how well Tommy's, big spoiler alert, departure, if you will, was written, you know, and yeah, exactly, and was portrayed. The moment itself, man, the fight scenes, the whole package. Like, shout out to you, shout out to the cast, the stunts, the fight coordination. That was an entirely epic fight sequence with impactful storytelling. The way that the visor breaks, the emotion between pink and green, the panic of everyone having to leave abruptly. Like, they aren't coming out on top of this situation at the moment. In fact, they're leaving with blood spilled and lives lost. Like, you didn't hold back, you know? Yeah. And I love that about it, though. Like, that's what makes a great story a great story. And then again, kind of pivoting back to that's what makes a great villain, you know? Like, sometimes showing like that the heroes, exactly. Yeah. The stakes are high. You're not always going to win. There's going to be losses. Like, I kind of almost, no shade to anyone out there that does it, but I kind of almost hate when it's like just the heroes are just always winning. Like, give me something to feel attached to, you know? And you did that. The Green Ranger is and always will be a fan favorite. And in your tellings, you chose to see an emotional exit pretty early on, actually, with Tommy, and then have someone else uphold the dragon shield there later at that. And there we go. Right, yes, there. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, man. Was there a specific significance for you to take this route of not having the Green Ranger play as prominent of a role as some would have thought? Was this at all done to allow more showcasing of the other characters, or was it just to pull on our heartstrings, man? You know?
A little bit of all three, actually.
Yeah.
I usually saw I had the memorial or the signed photo of JDF.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Like, we're all, I mean, if you're an MMA PR fan, you're a Green Ranger fan by default. That's just a rule.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you have
100%.
to be a Green Ranger fan.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
We all kind of share that, like, shared love for Tommy and the Green Ranger, and he's irreplaceable.
Right.
And one of the big complaints people had for the 2017 movie, because this was the first episode came out 2018, so it was like right after the 2017 movie came out.
Yeah.
People were like, a big sticking point was, are they going to replace Tommy? Are they going to gender bend Tommy into a woman? And if they do, it's not my Tommy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, on one level, I do agree that when characters are iconic like that, like, you can't, it's almost impossible to fill those shoes.
Right.
So I thought the multiverse concept was a good way to kind of sidestep that problem and still, like, because above all else, this is all just a tribute to Power Rangers, and because I love Power Rangers. But I didn't want to be that fan film that was like I'm the real Billy. Or like, no.
Yeah.
Billy, no. David Yost is the real Billy. Billy Cranston, I've watched growing up, is the real Billy.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch that. I want to kind of be our own thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I like tying into Shattered Grid in the first episode, because it shows that the Mighty Morphin universe is out there. Like, there are versions that of Power Rangers that are still familiar in this greater world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just felt like by kind of making our own version of Tommy, it'd be easier for people to like that version rather than say, like, it's replacing your Tommy. This is our Tommy. You could like our Tommy, you could not like our Tommy, but the Tommy we all know still exists.
Yes, exactly.
And I think it did help a lot of people accept Angela, who played Tommy Oliver as our Green Ranger. Yeah. She kicked ass, so it definitely helped.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, she's a beast.
Yeah, she did an amazing job. And then again, with the acting and everything, and then the way that you just portrayed it, what occurs in the moment. I won't go into too much detail because that's a cool moment to see. Like, that's a good episode. That's an amazing episode. That's an amazing moment. And like I said, the fight sequence, and it's a cool moment to actually see yourself. But I will say it's done so well the way that it happens, because like I said, you think of the Green Ranger and you would think that it's gonna the Ranger's gonna play a more prominent role, and just the way that you went about it, though, it didn't like, I didn't feel like, oh, it should have been done this way, or there should have been more of this. I didn't feel any of that. Like, I just was watching and I was just like, oh man, like, I was engulfed in the moment, you know. And you pulled on our heartstrings and you pulled it off so perfectly. Well,
one of my favorite series is Game of Thrones, and I think when you toy with the fans' expectation and you do it, like Last Jedi is an example of diverting expectations and not doing it well.
Yes,
but you can play with the fans' expectations, and I think do it in a way that is more emotionally impactful. That isn't negative. Actually, it improves the thing rather than takes away from the thing.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's what I wanted to accomplish with episode 2. Episode 2 was the statement that this is not Mighty Morphin. There's going to be dark moments. There's going to be things that happen that because like you said, the Green Ranger's the Green Ranger. When Tommy shows up, Tommy's usually like he won. Yes, we did
exactly.
It. Yeah,
there we go. You nailed it. That's kind of what I was also trying to say. I couldn't find the right words. You nailed it. Like when you think of the Green Ranger, you think like, okay, like shit's about to go sideways for this villain. You know what I mean? He's gonna lose now. You know? And
that's
it was
like go Green Ranger.
Yes,
go.
exactly.
So the other thing happens. It's like
exactly. Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. It's like almost a mind blown moment. But
it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. But again, it circles back to that top V, dude. You know what I mean? It circles back, dude.
I'm now imagining the Arbiter like a cigar. He's like,
after he's done with a day, he goes back to wherever he goes, and he's just got like a cigar. Like,
oh my god,
it's hard being me, you know. But no, like just a job well done, dude. Kudos. And like it's all very well written, and it just shows like this has to happen for what's coming later. You know what I mean? Like these things have to happen, and it just circles back again to, all jokes aside, like a good villain where the stakes are high. Like we have to step it up from here on out.
I mean, talking about the villain aspect, I just feel like when it comes to the Arbiter, what I try to it's the theme of Unworthy. I feel like this is what, because I've also tried to figure out like why, like you mentioned like the almost 20 million views, which I didn't even know. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. I didn't even see to know there's that many, but I feel like it resonates with people because of what the Arbiter represents, and even how you've said that you like everybody likes to be a villain sometimes, or like you kind of resonate with the Arbiter. And I'm just like, why? And I think it's because the Arbiter represents life. Yeah, he represents trauma. He represents the things that might happen to you that kind of take you off your path. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like we've all experienced that. We've all experienced it. And that's really what the Unworthy is about. Worthy is about what happens when life shows up, fucks up your day, or messes up your day. Oh
no, you're good. You're good. You can curse here. Yeah, you can curse here. It's fine.
Yeah, if it messes up your day or fucks up your day. Yeah. And then like, what do? Either you go down a dark path like the Arbiter did, or you pick yourself up and you persevere. And that's what life is. And I feel like that's what Unworthy represents, and what the Arbiter represents at the end of the day. Yeah,
100%, dude. I also want to bring up during that moment, the whole moment we're talking about with Tommy and the Arbiter and everything, that fight sequence, from what I can remember right now off the top of my head, maybe you know, maybe you don't remember yourself, was that the longest fight sequence, like, as a whole throughout the series so far? Like
between Tommy and the Arbiter?
Well, I mean, just that whole episode, that fight sequence of them, and when they're trying to escape the Arbiter and they got to leave. I'm trying to remember, like, was that, I felt like that was a long sequence, and I have a question for it. That's why.
I think it was, from start to finish is probably the longest, because it's got a lot of like beats in it. Yeah.
I think so. And which, I mean, phenomenally done again. And I was going to ask, like, was that all shot, behind the scenes stuff here, was that all shot like in one day? Did you guys do that in multiple that episode, that sequence?
No, I think we did that in 2 days.
Nice, man.
And it was freezing.
Was it really?
That was a hard shoot. That location,
especially because you gotta move around. Your muscles are probably all tight.
Like if you go back and rewatch it, there are moments like before the fight starts. If you look at the Yellow Ranger specifically, she's doing this.
Oh, really?
It looks like she's scared. No, she's just cold.
Oh man, yeah, dude. Yeah, no, that was like, I was watching that. I remember watching that sequence and just going like, holy shit, man, like this is a long fight scene. Like they're really getting it in, dude. And then of course the creative side of me thought like, wonder what that was like during shooting. Like I wonder if that was one day and they were just like, we're shooting all day fight scenes, you know what I mean? But man, shout out to your stunt team and the coordination and everything. Like what's it like behind the scenes? Like you got any like little tidbits of what it's like learning the choreography and stuff? Because you're also, for those that may not know, a ranger in the series yourself. You're the Blue Ranger, and you do a phenomenal job. You're like the kind of like the comedic relief in the series too. I like that, man. So like what's it like being, let's step into the actor's shoes for you too. Like, so what's it like doing the fight scenes and everything?
Shout out to the stunt team and everybody that does, all the actors that do their own stunts, even like they're really the bread and butter of our series. Without the action, like stories, like whatever. You need both for it to work.
Right. Yeah.
For an actor, like I honestly feel like I'd rather be behind the camera. I feel better like watching the action than I do being a part of it. Cause you gotta remember the beats and you gotta if you have lines, you gotta remember what you're doing. Yeah, timing. Or if you're in a helmet, especially. I don't know if you ever like worn a Power Ranger helmet and tried to do anything. Yeah. It's hard enough to walk around a con in a Power Ranger helmet, much less trying to fight somebody. You can't breathe you can't breathe it. It's like, oh, I hate this. It's actually, to be honest, it's kind of miserable to do it. But then when you see it, it's like, oh my God, it's like we're action figures. This is amazing. So it's bet. It's the trade-off. So, I bet, yeah. But that's awesome, when it comes to the stunts, it's all Eric Fuchs, our stunt coordinator, choreographer, Javon Wallace, who did a lot of the stuff for Psycho Menace, and he was Ninjor and did the choreography for Ninja's Oath. They're amazing. Yeah, that was very well done too, man. I mean, all of it was, but there's definitely, just as a viewer too, you find your standout moments that resonate with you, like anybody does. And just, man, the fight scenes for that moment, Ninjor's fight scenes, awesome. Dialogue and Ninjor's Oath too was just top notch, man. Like those were some of my favorite moments, dude. But that's so cool, man. I definitely want to talk with you about a lot more. I got some other things I want to talk to you about, past, present, your stuff and how you got into this to begin with, and Psycho Menace and everything you've got coming up. But before we do that, let's break up the monotony and let's get into this week's Cosplay of the Week. And this week's Cosplay of the Week is none other than Team Awesome 418, and I'm throwing it up on the screen right about now, and it's of his Miles Morales Spider-Man. Sometimes I'll throw things up that correlate with the theme of this episode, and this episode is Power Rangers, as we have Jourdan here from Power Rangers Unworthy, the creator, the actor, the director, the writer, and it goes on and on, the list of things that he does, man. But I figured let's break up the monotony. Let's do something a little bit different. And then with the whole new Spider-Man movie coming out, oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the name. Do you remember what it is? Across the Spider-Verse. There we go. Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse. That's coming out soon. So I felt like this was a little bit fitting. Let's throw in a little bit of Marvel here. So we've got Spider-Man Miles Morales from Team Awesome 418, and this is absolutely dope, dude. His real name is Lorenzo. Renzo, you call yourself Spider Renzo, and the caption says, Spider Renzo advice. Do something where you are helping others because that gives you a sense of empowerment, and it's also opening your heart. Be a helping hand and encourage. Do not discourage. We're built to help uplift one another, not put each other down. I like that. It's a very Spider-Man thing to say as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, for real. I like that, man. I like that. This photo was taken at Hudson Yards, and it was by Dante Prime. I believe it's Dante Prime, Donte Prime. I love this, man. I love the background and everything. The way the building is and all that stuff. It just gives a really good Spider-Man vibe. This gives me like you've got the Spider-Man stance going down where got the hand a little bit, one other in the air. This looks like a moment where you just dropped down, you just swung in, and you're about to fight like a villain of some sort. You know what I mean? Nice. I love it, dude. I love everything about it, and just the edit on the photo and everything too. The colors are really popping. The black and the red stand out perfectly. The blacks aren't too black, so you're not blending in with the shadows in the background and things like that. It just pops out perfectly with your Miles Morales suit. I just love it, dude. I love the fingertips and everything. The red's popping on the fingertips like crazy. The white of the eyes, man. You've got the leather jacket with the red as well. I mean, it's a perfect Miles Morales, man. I do want to throw up a second photo, and we're throwing that up now. And this is a cool photo, man. Sometimes, and I hope Renzo, you don't take this the wrong way. Sometimes simple is also an awesome thing. Sometimes less is more. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Sometimes less is more. And this is just such a simplistic photo of you on the R train. Actually, shout out to wait, Jourdan. Where are you located? Are you Jersey? You're in Jersey. Okay, I didn't know if you were in New York. I'm a Brooklyn native, man. I'm out here in California right now, but my family's from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, so I know it pretty well, and I miss it like crazy, so I always get excited when I see things, But I see him here on the R train, man, and it makes me just want to be there. I like that. I just like this moment, dude, with the angle where you could see like the long shot of the train in the background and everything, and Miles Morales up close with his hands, and you're taking the train. Gives me that Insomniac Spider-Man vibe where the loading screens where he takes the train and everything. I just love it, man. And sometimes less is more. It's just such a simplistic photo, but there's just something about it that spoke to me, and I just really dig it, man. With you in the forefront and the train in the background, I like it, man. And it's so well done. And he shot this himself. Nice.
Probably on his phone. I'm guessing, maybe, who knows? But it's absolutely dope, man. So if you guys aren't following Team Awesome, if you aren't following Lorenzo, go follow him on Instagram at Team Awesome, spelled exactly how it sounds with a 418 at the end. He's got all kinds of stuff. He's got Spider-Man. He's got Deadpool. He's got all kinds of other awesome cosplays. Go follow him. Like I said, Team Awesome 418. Jordan, before we get out of here, do you got anything that you want to add? Anything you want to say about his Spider-Man Miles Morales?
It looked great. Like, I love the hoodie. The whole ensemble looks exactly pitch perfect to the movie. So he killed it.
100%, man. Ladies and gentlemen, go follow him, like I said, because Lorenzo, your Spider-Man Miles Morales cosplay for me, and Jordan is amazing.
Spectacular.
It's a good one. Threw them both in, man. Threw them both in. I love it, dude. Hey, before we start talking about your backstory a little bit, before we talk about Psycho Menace and everything, Jordan, let's have a little bit of fun real quick, man. I'm throwing a little curveball. Did not prep Jordan about this whatsoever. He has no idea what the fuck's going on. So before we get into those things, let's do a little something that I like to call shotgun questions, and it's kind of a little bit of a rapid fire thing here. I always say this. I always say it's going to be rapid fire, and it never is rapid fire. Like, we always end up having full blown conversations about stuff. So like, we'll see. I think there's been one guest that actually was pretty rapid fire, and I was like, wow, that's surprising that we didn't like get into a conversation. So if it is rapid fire, cool. If it's not, doesn't matter. We just
semi-auto,
somewhere.
maybe?
Yeah, he's semi-auto. Exactly, man. Do you have one favorite Power Ranger? And if you can narrow it down to just a single Power Ranger, cool. But if not, give us a top 3 maybe across all universes, series, fandoms, even your own. If you can name just one, cool. If not, top 3.
Other than JDF, I gotta say JDF. He's number one. Like,
there you go.
Like, I mean, growing up, that was the Ranger. I mean, I had Blue Ranger outfit, I had a Red Ranger outfit, I had Green Ranger toys, but in terms of like who I look to as when I think Power Rangers, I think JDF.
JDF, yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Classic here. I got to give you a classic. I like to call this a Projekt battle. Green Ranger versus White Ranger. You can only choose one. Which do you choose?
Well, this really happened in Mighty Morphin Season 3. No? Obviously, it was a draw because no powers now.
I love it, dude. I guess it's more just like your personal pick. You know what I mean?
I'd have to give it lore-wise. I have to say the White Ranger just because if they really put they really big up the white light power. Like, it's supposed to be the strongest power because it's white light. So I gotta say the White Ranger,
Right. I know you ventured into DC with Arrow before, and that's on Unworthy Productions on YouTube right now.
Yeah, wow.
We're big here on many things Marvel and DC alongside many other things of pop culture. But if you had to choose to adapt a storyline or a character from Marvel or DC into film or a series, is there anyone that you've always wanted to tackle? Is there anything that's always been on your mind?
Wow, a storyline or a character?
Yeah, it could just be, I throw in storyline in case like maybe you're a fan of a specific storyline and you would like to adapt it. Or if it's just a character like, I love Spider-Man, I would love to do a Spider-Man series. Just like anything like that. Is there anything from Marvel or DC, aside from Arrow, that you have always had in the back of your mind? And if there's not, that's fine too.
Marvel or DC? I'm like, we're talking about Spider-Man, so Spider-Man's on top of my in the back of my mind right now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like a live action production.
Yeah. I guess it would be like live action. If you wanted to adapt anything in the superhero realm outside of Power Rangers, would you adapt anything, and what would that be?
If I had an unlimited budget, I would love to do a Spider-Man thing.
Nice,
because Spider-Man, it ties right back into Mighty Morphin because it's that like you're living the high school life, but the balancing with being a superhero.
Yeah,
I love that like element of storytelling. So like I would love to do a Spider-Man something.
That would be awesome, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And you're out there in Jersey, right next to New York. You could pull it off, dude.
Yeah. That would be maybe. I was thinking about doing something anime versus Marvel related. Deku versus Miles Morales could be cool.
Yes, dude. Yes. You were gonna say something else though?
Oh, if it was a storyline though, and if I had a limited budget, I would love to do the Ultimatum storyline from Ultimate Comics.
Yes, dude.
That it's really dark. And it doesn't work unless you do a lot of things right to set it up. But in terms of like if I get, instead of Phase 4 of the MCU, if they just hired me to do the Ultimatum arc and just kill everything.
Yes, dude. Definitely, dude. Definitely, man. I'd tune into that. Outside of the like pop culture realm, I guess you could say, if you could time travel to any era, like in real life, if you could time travel to any era in time, any period in time, anywhere, where would you go and why? And you can have up to 3 choices if so you want 3 choices.
It has to be the past, or it can be the future.
Could be the future too. A lot of people, I want to preface real quick before you answer.
What?
So many guests I ask this question to every guest. So many guests always choose the past and only 2 have ever chosen the future. And I always found that
really
like intriguing. Like only 2 have ever said, I'd love to see what the future looks like. Everyone else has gone to the past.
No, I want to go to the future. I want to see where this is going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know I want spoilers. I want to know what's happening.
Yes, dude, definitely. That's crazy. Yeah, man, the future, dude, the future. You can have up to 3 if you want 3, but if you want to just go with 1, that's fine too.
Nah, further in the future every single time.
There we go,
did
dude.
AI take over yet? Like, are
right.
we there? Because
I feel like we're headed there.
Bro, it's really a horror movie starring and no one cares.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
It's getting a little scary, dude. It's getting a little scary.
What did the AI say?
I know, right?
We've seen movies, guys. Like,
yes.
Terminators, the whole franchise.
Why are we doing this? Why are we pushing this further and further?
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's getting crazy, man. All right, so that's all I got for you for the shotgun questions, man. That was pretty rapid fire, dude. That was was pretty rapid fire, man.
Semi-auto. Like
right. That was a little semi-auto there, man. I like that. I'm gonna use that. Earlier, I stated that I was gonna ask you about like yourself, man. So, with nearing 20 million views on your YouTube channel, dude, Power Rangers Unworthy, winning fan film contests and everything, all that you've accomplished, I bet beginning days you would have never expected things to go this well, I guess you could say. But on the outside looking in, we always just see the success, you know, unless people pay attention and see the growth, see the climb, or we're there for it. And with that being said, before it was Unworthy Productions, before it was Power Rangers Unworthy, how did Jourdan even start? Like, how did this interest in the film world as a whole begin for you? Like, where did this journey start?
Well, I mean, I've always loved pop culture and like in fandom and geekdom and all that stuff, like my whole life. So that's just always who I've been. Like, Billy is not really a character. Billy is just me. It's just how I am.
And it's so well thrown in, dude.
You're right what you know. So I'm just like, oh, this is me. So I don't put it in there. Hence why he has all the pop culture references. I mean, even as we've been talking.
I love that. I love you brought that up. I love all those references, dude.
Yeah. I mean, even as we've been talking, like you see like almost everything that we talk about, I could actually liken back to something I've seen or liked. So even episode 2, that big battle, like if you think about it, it's the same energy as if you've seen the original Ninja Turtles movie, the 90s one. Yeah. Shredder versus the Turtles. That's what it is.
Yeah. Oh,
like
shit. Yeah.
It's the same vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I'm not like copy and pasting, but I try and take the energy what made what made those scenes like so impactful when I was a kid.
Right.
And just show love to things that
exactly
inspired me when I was growing up.
Yeah, every creative takes inspiration from things that, you know, like I said, inspired them. And then you're a creative yourself and you want to throw in the things that gave you the feelings that they gave you when you watched it. And you want to, you know, pay homage to those things as well. And then give your viewers those moments that you felt when you were watching what you were watching. So, and you do those things beautifully, man. But but continue. My bad. Continue. Yeah.
Yeah. So even like if you look at Unworthy as a series, like partially it's my ADHD where I can't stay on one thing for too long, but it's also I like to experiment and, you know, genre bend a lot. So if you notice, I'm doing a lot of like Power Rangers in the future, Power Rangers Urban with Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers Anime with Ninjas, Power Rangers Star Wars with Psycho Menace, like Power Rangers Avengers with episode 5 coming up. Like there's a lot of, I try and just do different things with Power Rangers so I don't get bored, but also because just the big scope of the things I love, I want to basically touch on everything I can. Cause like you said, like I didn't know it was going to get as big as it did going to episode 1, but since it is, you know, I guess I'm an artist and a filmmaker and a writer and a creator, and I just want to show the world like the different things I can do with basically the same paintbrush, but on different portraits. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
definitely, man.
So I started off just like, as a cosplayer, but I've always loved pop culture, and I have a podcast, or I haven't done a new episode in a while, but I have a podcast that I talk about pop culture and I talk about movies. So then when it came to getting the filmmaking, I kind of fell backwards into it was a group, Common Ramen Studios, and they made films.
Yeah.
And I basically started from the ground. I came to them with like a script because I wanted to make after the 2017 movie, the reason why that line in the first episode is in there, where it's like, oh, you can't please fans, man, and Billy's going off on a rant.
Yeah,
that's me. That's just me. So, like, Unworthy episode 1 was kind of like that's not how you make Power Rangers. This is how you make Power Rangers.
Right.
You don't have enough Power Rangers in Power Rangers.
Yeah, I like that.
From there, like, I came to the script, and maybe one day I'll release it, but the first version of Unworthy is terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. I didn't understand like what it would take to make a film. Like, it was like a 40-page script, and so much of it was like just fluff, and like the writing wasn't succinct, and like basically through them I started like learning about filmmaking, learning how through watching them make things, I started to figure out like, okay. And also knowing how much work it took to make anything. That's another thing. A lot of people don't even understand.
Yes.
Like, they see what we do and go like, oh, I'll take a camera. I was like, no, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot. You gotta be real anal sometimes to get it the exact way you want it. Like, and you gotta have a team that's dedicated, and like it's so many moving pieces that have to fall into place for it to all work.
Yeah.
So just being with them and getting like a real world, tangible, like feeling of what filmmaking actually was, it was like, okay, there's no way we can make because if we had made that script, it would have been like 40 minutes. Impossible. Impossible.
Yeah, right.
So I trimmed it down. I over the course of a year, we trained, we found a cast, and it was just like a slow build up. And then we released episode 1 at Power Morphicon. But before that, I didn't have any experience in filmmaking, or I wrote short stories for like creative writing classes back in like high school. Yeah. But I never like full on like, I'm going to be a writer when I grow up or something.
That's crazy.
Never that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was.
And then look at you now.
I think a lot of it. Yeah. Hey, I'm still trying to get out there. To me, Unworthy is kind of like Unworthy Productions, our group, Fight for Film. It's like our resume to the world of like, because I feel like a lot of times, especially now, like people ask for money and they don't deliver when it comes to like crowdfunding stuff. Yeah. And it's like, I never want to be that. Right. I have a real problem with even asking for anything. Yeah. I feel you. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to like kind of work off my own merit. So like, I want people to see that like, and number one, like, we finish it. I want to finish the series that way, because so few series even finish that start online. Yes. I want to showcase that like, not only can we start something, we can finish it. And every episode, and it wasn't originally the intention, but I think it just comes from a place of actual genuine passion and working with people that are talented and share that passion. Right. Like, we've improved every episode. And, and it sounds like hyperbole when I say it. I had to kind of get over it. I'm always like, this is the best episode ever. Eventually I'm going to sound like every episode is the best episode ever.
Yeah, exactly. But it has progressed.
I truly, I would never say that unless I truly mean it. And I see our improvement every episode. And now I genuinely feel like the next thing we're working on, Psycho Menace, is like on par with a lot of the things that they do in Once and Always. And we don't have $100 million budget. Like we're a ragtag team in Jersey, just working off shoestring budget and passion. Yeah. So I'm like, if we can show, my hope is that if we can show the powers that be, like, hey, like, we can do this.
Yes,
maybe toss some shekels our way. Maybe
definitely. I mean, since you brought it up, I mean, let's just dive into it, dude. The Psycho Menace, man. The Psycho Menace is another project that you're working on that's been making waves of anticipation throughout the community, yet to be released. A lot of hype around this. And you have a lot of my boys a part of this project as well, man. So I'm super stoked to see everybody come together, dude. The guys from Combat and the Grid, previous cosplays of the week here, and Mike is a two-time guest here, Mike Patron and Louis Jr. As Psycho Gold and Psycho Red. People out here making dreams come true, man, as I work with Nerdbot and I've had the pleasure of working with my guy, DJ Rivers, man. And yes, dude, and Christopher Khayman Lee as well on Colin's Shattered Pass alongside Bloodline of the Grid. And you have these Legacy Rangers returning as multiversal variants of themselves, joined by Patrick David as well. And that's just scratching the surface, man. What is the the Psycho Menace? What can people expect? Like, what's the deal with the Psycho Empress? Like, give us as many details as you can as of right now. You know what I mean? What you can say, man.
No spoilers, but I can't go into details about what it's about. It's if you love Star Wars, you're gonna love the Psycho Menace.
Yeah, man.
It is definitely our best production in terms of like lighting. It's like the raw, like just the
I see you guys
just
got
the
like
production
sets, like production sets and everything.
Bro, we're in Jersey. We don't have sets over here. You know what we had to do? We had to find laser tag places that would allow us to film.
Man.
I had to
now
beg,
that you
please,
say it, I see it.
I'm like, please let us film here. There's nowhere
That's
on
so
the East
cool,
Coast.
though. That's so cool, though, dude. That's a story. That's a moment to remember, though, dude.
Yeah. You gotta get creative when you're on the East Coast and there's no sets, so you gotta just find things that look like other things.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
and that wasn't even in my mind when I was like, oh, I want to do something in space. It was like, after coming off the future stuff, that was hard enough to find sets for.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'll do in space. I'm like, how am I gonna do in space? like I'm gonna be in a force. Like, then are we in space then?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a tribute to Star Wars first and foremost, but also, of course, in space.
Right.
In space is actually in terms of storytelling, my favorite season. That's why some people are like, Psycho Menace, it seems so random after episode 4, and we haven't gotten back to the Unworthy Rangers. Where are they at? And again, ADHD and jumping around. But I did tease at the end of episode 4 that the in space Red Ranger was going to show up in some capacity.
Yeah.
And this is what's tying into. So basically, what we're doing between episodes 4 and 5 is we're showing what's been happening as the Unworthy Rangers.
Elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Ninja's Oath is happening between episodes 4 and 5, just like this is happening between episodes 4 and 5.
Right.
And it's kind of like the gathering of the Avengers to lead into episode 5.
Oh man, I just got chills.
Yeah.
That gets me so excited, dude.
It's gonna be dope, bro. That's why it's like thank you so much to DJ. Shout out to him. He's a great dude.
Yeah,
Shout
definitely.
out to Christopher Khayman Lee and Projekt David for collaborating. I was telling DJ this that my favorite part of Power Rangers is the camaraderie. It's teamwork. It's working together. Like I love the phrase "Together we are more." Yeah, because it's so. When I first heard that 2017's movie, I'm like, what is obviously 1 + 1 is 2. More, duh. But it's more of like the idea that it's not an addition. It's synergistic. It's multiplication. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like together we can be more than the sum of our parts. Yeah, and that's what I think Unworthy represents. And I think that's what I love about collaborating with the other Power Ranger communities or the Power Ranger fan films. Yeah, definitely. Because we're all kind of like in the same space. So it's like, why not? I just feel like we all kind of build each other up. Yeah. And working with Nerdbot and DJ and we're collaborating with Christopher Khayman Lee and Projekt David, it's like this is the first time we're actually bringing in a legacy Ranger in any capacity. It brings a level of, I feel, because I'm a big super fan, it brings a level of gravitas to the universe where it's like, he's our Luke Skywalker. Like he's, and I won't get into details about the details of the plot, but the idea is it's like, if you've seen Marvel's What If, with Uatu, the Watcher, and he's watching the whole multiverse and all the happenings of, I kind of took that idea and because I love the What If series, and kind of juxtapose it on the Power Rangers, where instead of Uatu as the Watcher, we have the Morphin Master as the Watcher. Who, and you know, Power Rangers lore, the Morphin Master is like a celestial Power Ranger god, basically. One of a team of them, but so he's watching the universe. And so if it feels like seems like such a random story, it is. It's because it's being told through the lens of the Morphin Master, who's just like, oh, by the way, this is happening over here. But it will tie back into episode 5 towards the end. So Christopher Khayman Lee is our Luke Skywalker. It's a world in which, or a timeline in which, the countdown to destruction went terribly awry, and rather than the Rangers winning and the Z-Wave destroying all of the bad guys, the Psycho Rangers are around and they win. Yeah. And there's a mystery of like, who is the Psycho Empress? How did she become the queen of the Psycho Rangers? Why is she the queen of the Psycho Rangers? And since all the Power Rangers, like Star Wars Order 66 style, have been wiped out by the Psycho Rangers, we're jumping forward like 10 years plus. Like basically, not even, no. I would say actually the real world time, so 25 years. Damn, And it's the idea that we've thought the Power Rangers have all been dead, but this is the return of the Jedi. It's
Nice.
somehow Andros did not die,
Yeah.
and now he's returned to stop the Psycho Rangers and their Psycho Empire when they've reached like something that will threaten the entire multiverse, not just their universe even.
Yeah.
So that's how it all ties back in together with Unworthy. It's gonna be dope.
You guys got an Astro
excited.
Megazord in this, dude. I saw that. I saw
yes.
that little teaser. Saw the little preview. That looks amazing too, dude. I
This is gonna
can't
be our
wait.
first episode with a Megazord in it. So
Yes,
it's gonna be
yeah.
sick. Yes,
That's gonna be stoked. I'm stoked
and
for that, dude.
shout out to Dai Zeojin for donating, or not donating, for collaborating.
Yeah.
To be able to make that happen, because we don't have Megazord technology like that. That's all Dai, and he's
That's
amazing.
so
Go
cool,
watch his
though.
stuff.
Yeah,
he
definitely.
does Megazord like showdown battles. So if you're into Power Rangers, you should watch them.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be like? When can we expect a release? Do you have like a broad idea? Can you say anything? Like, what's a release date looking like?
I'm trying to get the trailer out by latest middle of next month. We've had a couple of delays. I wanted to do it by the May the 4th, but that wasn't going to happen because of VFX.
Yeah.
So instead we dropped that teaser. Again, I don't exaggerate. I can guarantee you that the trailer is like 1,000 times more epic than that teaser. Like it's my favorite trailer by far that we've ever done.
I can't wait.
I'm hyped to see it. But for the full release, maybe by end of summer at this rate, it's what's really just keeping it back is the VFX, and it just depends on how soon we can get that done. But other than that, I mean, we're full steam ahead in post production though. So we're already gonna start filming for Last and Jedi in episode 5 soon. So
nice. Yes, can't wait, dude. I can't wait. Before we get out of here, I got to ask you, man. What's I mean, you kind of just laid it out a little bit, but I'll ask anyway. I'll ask anyway. What's next for Unworthy? You know, I know episode 5 is expected, so you just kind of mentioned that things are kind of rolling. I mean, where do we really lie on the production for episode 5? Like, what beans can you spill on where you guys are at with that? I know you're working on Psycho Menace. We just talked about all that, but what's it looking like for episode 5 too? I know it's Psycho Menace first, and then we're gonna gear up for that, right?
Yep. Psycho Menace, we're going to be wrapping up in terms of post-production. And as we're doing that, we're going to be starting to film Last and Jedi for Patreon, which is going to be the spin-off series or mini-series that involve Ninjor and his brother Ninjakon, which was teased a little bit in Ninja's Oath. Then it's episode 5. And that's going to be by far our biggest episode. That is the end game of our series in terms of like high scale production and battles. Like everything has been kind of leading to episode 5. So I really want to make sure that is like the best it could possibly be, because it has the potential, not even the potential, it definitely, like, just in terms of what has to happen in that episode, it's going to, I'll put it this way. I'm not trying, like, laughs are cheap. I'm going to quote Always Sunny. Laughs are cheap. I'm going for gasps. Yes, dude. It's going to be epic. Like, that's what I can say about it.
That's awesome, man. Is that going to be the finale, or you got more planned out after episode 5?
Well, we also have Death Ranger coming out after that. We'll be filming that kind of before, kind of at the same time of episode 5, because it's shorter. It's more like Ninja's Oath length.
Right.
And that's Death Ranger versus the Arbiter, which we'll go into talking about Arbiter's his intricate origin and backstory. We only really got a glimpse of it in episode 3 through the eyes of the Chrono Ranger. But you know how life is. Like everybody's got their own version of events, and they think they know who you are, but they don't actually know all the details. They just know the broad strokes of who you are. Yes. So there are things that were hinted in episode 3 that go deeper into the Arbiter's backstory and why he is the way he is. That we're gonna reveal in the Death Ranger special. Nice. And then after that, it's really up to the audience. If the audience still wants more, there's definitely something that can be done for this. If I call all of this a season of Unworthy, there's 2 projects that I have in mind to cap off this season. And beyond that, we're working on an original pilot that's kind of power. It's not quite power. It's kind of like the things I did in episode 4, like were like scratching an itch, because I really like horror. I really like futuristic stuff. I really like Power Ranger elements, like Guyver, because if you notice, like there was Guyver references and stuff like that in episode 4. And it's something more in the vein of that that I want to do that's an original short. And that'll probably be like a half-hour pilot that we could actually pitch the companies. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Nice.
But all of that is contingent upon how people feel about episode 5. And hopefully we're going to try a Kickstarter again or something to really make the last installments of our series, and especially our pilot, something that is like high budget.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, you kind of answered one of my other questions, which would rounding this out, this episode out, man, was, besides Psycho Menace and Unworthy, like what's next on the table for you, like as a person, anything else that you're looking to do, any exclusives that you want to drop right here, right now? But no. I mean, you kind of said a couple things here and there, but I mean, just you as a person, like what's the future look like for you? Like what do you got on the table, or things that you want to achieve or tackle? Is there anything else that's on your mind?
Just the next production, man. It's so it's so all encompassing. It's like I have to live in that world. That's why now I understand why like some people are like the directors that do series for like 10 plus years, or like people that worked on Marvel, or like the Lord of the Rings, or like these things that from the first one to the third one it takes 10 years. It's like, oh, that's why. It's like, you did Lord of the Rings, just keep going, do more. It's like, I'm tired. I've lived in the Shire for so long, I want to just do something else. So like that's I'm not saying I'm like burnt out on Power Rangers at all. It's just that I want to, just like how I keep kind of painting Power Rangers with different paintbrushes, or making different portraits with that paintbrush. I want to, in the same way, take my love for these things and make something original that, if Hasbro won't hire us or whatever powers that be, don't notice that we're passionate fans trying to make the best Power Rangers thing possible just because we love Power Rangers. If they don't notice that, then maybe we have to make our own thing. That's like kind of what JDF did with Legends of the White Dragon, make a Power Rangers adjacent thing. Right. Yeah, definitely, man. You mentioned like original IPs and stuff like that. Are you mean like still living in the Power Rangers world, or like a completely original? Like completely original. Okay. Got you. To me, Unworthy, it always hurts me a little bit in my heart when people say that, like, yeah, you do Unworthy, but are you doing something original? I'm like, Unworthy isn't original. Yeah, no, that's why I was trying to like word it carefully, because it is, though. It is. It is. I swear. I put so much work into it to be original. How do you not see this? No, and it definitely is. But I more so just meant something outside of like Power Rangers as well. If you were going to delve into something like that somewhere down the line as well, in your film future, man. Everything that you're doing is absolutely awesome, dude. And I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I'm a fan as well. I love all the creative stuff that you do. The writing is amazing. Everything that I've said in this episode, I double down on it 100%, dude. I'm stoked to finally have got you here to talk about this, man. It's fun. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I had a great time too, dude. I hopefully we can do a part 2 sometime in the future. You know what I mean? We'll let some time go by, let some things happen, get you back on. Dope? If we could do like a collaborative episode with me, you, DJ, and like Christopher Khayman Lee, like talking about Bloodline and Psycho Menace, that'd be sick. Yes, DJ's my boy, man. I've actually been waiting to get him on to do an episode, but we've been waiting for a couple more things to happen with Bloodline, so we have more to talk about and stuff. But man, that actually is a perfect idea. Might as well just tackle all of it at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah. That'd be great. There might be Bloodline references in the next episode of Unworthy too. Exactly. There we go, dude. Yes, and a great thing, dude, including like the Psycho Menace and then Bloodline. Like, it's all such a perfect fit. It's all such a perfect. Real quick, I gotta ask too before we get out. I got one more question actually, just off the top of my head. I kind of don't want to spoil everything in case there's people out there that haven't seen it, but there is There's some stuff in Unworthy where the Arbiter is just kind of, I'm going to spoil it. It's just kind of like, go ahead. You just kind of see him literally just going through the multiverse, man, and just taking care of business, if you will. And the way that you portrayed it was actually having like other Rangers and other productions being a part of Unworthy, which we kind of talked about. It's kind of a large part of the episode. But was that always something in your mind? And I don't necessarily just mean the storyline of having him do that, but actually portraying it as other productions and other fan films and other Rangers. Did you always have that in mind, or was that like a last minute decision? No, I even when I was writing it, I had in mind like I want Chris Cantata's Mythos in here. I want Colin and Shattered Past in here, like, because again, I feel like, you know, Power Rangers is all camaraderie and teamwork. I just feel like that's what makes Power Rangers so cool. It was already like it was a multiverse before even Marvel started doing the multiverse. You know what I'm saying? Like it already had it set up. So I think they're just cool. Because I also before I did Unworthy, I watched a lot of the stuff that I included in Unworthy.
Yeah.
So like even Armored Rangers, that's a lesser known fan film series, but I watched it before I made Unworthy. Like I said, Mythos, and then. After we did episode 1, people like Colin did Shattered Past, and DJ came up with Bloodlines. So I wanted to include basically anybody that wanted to collaborate. I'm just like, come on, let's do it. Let's all together.
That's so cool. Yeah, and kudos to you for doing that and weaving everybody into the storyline, you know. And then for those that are on like that are found you as inspirations and you were able to also include them into your project. That shows that. It shows a lot about you as like a person too, dude. Like you don't have an ego. You're a humble person and you're like looking at other people's stuff, you know, and it's just so cool. I mean, because sometimes people will look at something and be like, damn, 4 million views on this one, this much on this, 20 million as a whole. Like, dude probably thinks of himself as high and you're not that dude, man. And I just want everybody to know that like right here, right now, if there's anybody that thinks about that in as far as Unworthy and Jourdan, he's not that guy. The dude is humble and the work speaks for itself. Man. The conversation speak for itself and in the inclusion of everybody else speaks for itself. So I mean, just kudos to you, man, for a job well done on everything that you're doing, man, and for being here. I really appreciate it, dude, and having this conversation. This has been awesome, man. And like I said, we definitely got to get a part 2. Before we get out of here, I want to give you the floor to say whatever it is that you want to say, round out whatever you want to round out, shout out whoever you want to shout out, plug whatever you want to plug, and let people know where they can find you, man.
Oh man, thank you. Just once again, thank you for having me on the Side Project podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, Jourdan, the blurred version is my main account where I post about pop culture stuff. But if you want to follow Unworthy, it's Unworthy Productions on Instagram, Unworthy Productions on YouTube. Follow Fight for Film on Instagram. If you're in the tri-state area, and you want to get some martial arts training or learn how we do fight films behind the scenes. My buddy, who's also a fight choreographer and stunt coordinator, Eric, he runs all that stuff. And yeah. I mean, I guess that's basically it. And stay tuned for the future of the series because it's gonna, again, I'm not exaggerating, it's going to get crazy.
Yes, dude. Yes, man. I can't wait, man. So like I said, Jourdan, thank you for coming, man. Round of applause for Jourdan, dude. You're awesome, man. I appreciate it. And for everybody tuning in. Oh, and by the way, man, I probably should save this for off camera, but fuck it. I might be out there in New York in September, man. We got to link up, dude. We definitely got to link up, man. Yeah,
hit me up.
Yeah, I'll be out there in New York. So, Jersey's not that far, man. Whether I come to you, you come to me, we'll figure it out. Oh, dude, that would be great, man. It should be, what I'm looking at is probably like mid-September. Mid-September is what I'm thinking about doing. Okay. So I'll probably be out there for like 4 or 5 days. So we'll try. We'll make something happen, man, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, definitely, man. So thank you for being here, dude, and everybody tuning in. Thank you for watching, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, for doing all of those beautiful things that you do over on youtube.com/Side Project Podcast. When you go down, you hit that big red subscribe button, and it goes, ooh, and you get 100 sexy project points. What are we doing with those project points? I don't know, man. I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
It's like, what is it, like 143 episodes? I have no idea what we're doing with those project points. They're kind of like, they're like Sonic rings or Mario coins. They're just kind of there. But actually, I don't know. The Sonic rings kind of help you in case you die, you come back. So if anybody wants to test that out, let me know. Write it down in the comments and we'll figure it out. Oh, the project point brought me back. It does work. Thank you for watching and listening on Spotify, as videos are available on Spotify as well, and following and rating and doing all those things you do on Spotify. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at IG_Chazzy, and everything else you need to find me on is on the screen right about now. That's my personal, in case you didn't know. If you're looking for the podcast as a whole on Instagram, you can find it at Side Project Podcast. And remember, that's Project with a K. For me and Jourdan and all of the Power Rangers, we are out of here.